I'm doing fine, and you?
I'm good. Did you do your homework?
I did do my homework.
You've been doing pretty good. Last couple of weeks, you've been right on point. So, what was your homework?
To write the letter, give it to my mom, and then have a conversation. Well, hope to have a conversation.
So, how'd that go?
I wrote the letter. I actually started writing the letter maybe a day after the last session, and I didn't finish it till like a couple of days later. And I gave it to her the day I finished it, and we had a conversation. It actually went really well. I wasn't surprised. I mean, that's the way I hoped it was gonna go. So it went good.
So, I mean, can you tell me a little more?
Well,
if you're okay with that, you comfortable telling me?
Yeah, that's fine. She read the letter, and then we just had open dialogue. And I think some of the stuff that I wrote in the letter she already knew, and maybe some of the stuff she didn't know. And I guess when I was writing the letter, it's like I started out from the beginning. And I guess just so she would understand, and maybe it would put some stuff in perspective. And then I think the letter could have been longer, but I was hoping, well, maybe, it just opened up the dialogue, and whatever else I wanted to write, we could just talk about. So I just went on, I started off saying that I was jealous of the relationship that her and my brothers had, not just because of the fact that I feel like I missed out, which is nobody's fault, but I guess like I told you, when I hear stories or different people say things, it just makes me feel like, well, dang, I wasn't there. So I didn't get to be a part of that. And if I would have, I don't know how things would have been if I was there. But it just seems like it would have been a lot different. So I explained that, and then I just went on to say that, I apologize for the disrespect. I apologize for any hurt feelings, intentional or unintentional. And I just told her, like, from now on, I'm just going to be honest. Regardless, if I'm thinking in my head, well, she's going to say this and she's going to think this, in order for us to maintain that healthy relationship, I'm going to have to be honest regardless. Then I told her I wanted to set aside our time again. We haven't done it in a long time. So I want us to have, that time, and it's going to be ours.
What did she say?
She said that she missed it too. So, and I think she understood, and a lot of stuff that I shared with her, I think she already knew, even if I hadn't said it. So I think sometimes I guess lie to myself about things, and sometimes it's obvious that that's how you feel, but I guess I think, well, I'm not supposed to be jealous of my brother's relationship. It's not their fault, or it's not her fault either. But that's the way I felt. So why would you want to say that when you know that's not how you're supposed to feel?
But who says how? Where is it written?
You're not supposed to be jealous of your siblings.
But where is it written that you're not supposed to have the feelings? I think where the disconnect comes, for lack of a better word, is why do you feel that way? And talking about what you're feeling and why you're feeling it, and then you come to terms with what you're feeling. Because we were built to have emotions. But why are we having emotions? Are these emotions having a negative impact on us, or is it having a positive impact on us? And are we holding them in, harboring them, and causing harm to ourselves emotionally or physically, or others emotionally or physically? So I don't think it's necessarily wrong that you felt the way you felt, but you're talking about it. And that way you're processing it and you're dealing with it. And it's not going to cause any damage because it's out in the open, it's being talked about. And you said you wrote your mom the letter, she read the letter, you guys did have dialogue. And you said you felt pretty good about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of said, well, you expected it, but you kind of wasn't sure about how it would go.
I wasn't sure I didn't know. I wasn't sure. That's the way I wanted it to go. I just wasn't sure if that's how it was gonna go.
So how did you feel when you were kind of unsure of how it was going to go, but then it actually went the way you wanted it to go?
I guess a little relieved, and then I guess hopeful for the future. Cause I knew, well, okay, it's a step in the right direction.
And it felt
It felt good. Yeah. I mean, it made me happy.
cool. So what are you, have you thought about what is your plan to do to keep going in that right direction? I know you said you guys talked about your time. What was that about?
Every Friday night, I guess for about 7 months, we went to dinner together, and we would always pick somewhere new. So Friday nights is our time. So we're gonna start doing that again.
Okay. Um, you said you thought if maybe you would have been with your siblings from birth, that things would have been a little different or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you were a little jealous or whatever. And you said you guys talked about that. Also, you stated that the things you didn't write in the letter, you felt like would have just come in the conversation. What was something? Because I want to do something different today. I want to do a little role playing. And because I know you said sometimes you don't feel like you're honest because you don't know what she's going to say or what she's not going to say. What is maybe something that you wanted to talk about that you didn't write down that you thought may have come out?
Um, oh no. Maybe
What's a hot issue for you guys? What's a hot topic?
a hot topic right now.
Mm-hmm.
Me dating.
Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna be your mother, and I'm going to be you. And I'm gonna make up a scenario, and you tell me how you think she would act, and I'm going to respond in a way that will be conducive of not harming your relationship, being able to have dialogue, and continue to be positive. You think you can do that?
Okay.
We're gonna do it for maybe a minute and 15 seconds, something like this. It'll be a real little quick scenario.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Mom, what you doing?
Nothing.
I just wanted to talk to you about something real quick. You're not busy? You got
No, I'm
time?
not busy.
Okay, cool. Well, I told you that me and Willie were dating, and we said we were official now, right?
Right.
So we went to the movies the other night, and we had dinner, and we went to the movies, and after the movies, I invited him over, and we hung out for a while.
Why did you invite him over?
I mean, because we were together and we were enjoying each other's company, and we didn't want to leave each other, so I let him come over.
Where were the kids?
Um, they were gone at first, but they came back while he was there.
And how long have you known him?
I met him, I told you I met him like a year ago when he brought me that book for Anita, and we've been dating, I don't know, a couple of months maybe.
So you think that was appropriate for him first to be at your house and then to be at your house with your kids?
Well, I mean, it wasn't an intimate thing.
Well, what is his intentions?
I'm not sure, but Mama, he just came over. He wasn't. I mean, he just came over.
But you don't really know him. What if he's a pedophile, a murderer? You don't know him, and you let him in your house.
Well, Mama, I ain't think about all of that. I mean, we were just, we went to the movies, we went to dinner, and I let him come over.
But if you didn't think about it for yourself, you should have thought about it for your kids.
Okay. Okay. So you're telling me it was wrong? So what I did is wrong?
Yes. I'm not saying not date. I'm not saying not hang out. But until you know first what his intentions are, he shouldn't be at your house.
Okay. Okay. So now, at this point, since he did come to my house, I mean, I know you thinking I probably did something I wasn't supposed to do, but I didn't do that. I mean, it was actually an innocent evening. I mean, we watched some TV. We had a couple glasses of wine. Um, it was kind of late when he left, but he did leave. I mean, we wasn't in my bedroom. We were in the front room on the couch. I mean, there was nothing indecent going on. But so what do I do now? Since I didn't think about it the way you're saying it. And yes, I do have a daughter and I do have a son, and pedophiles, some have purposes, some don't. But I mean, you know how I feel about having someone in my life, and I think he's a nice guy, and I didn't think about that like that. So now, what am I supposed to be? What do I do now? Because he's come over, and it wasn't nothing bad about it. So what if he asks to come over again? Now, do I say, oh no, you can't come to my house?
Well, I just think you need to have a conversation and explain that. Explain the boundaries. And if he really likes you or if it's really innocent, then he will understand.
Okay.
Especially if he has kids himself, then he would understand that.
So, okay. Okay. So so what you're saying is just, we'll say, if he just calls and say, well, can I come over?
I mean, you can say, well, I mean, if you want to hang out, we can meet somewhere. But I just don't think it's, I know you came over here before, but after, thinking or, reflecting or whatever, I just don't think it's appropriate for you to be at my home, right now, this early in the relationship.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But what if he gets mad? Because I like him, Mom, and I don't want him to be mad at
I
me.
mean, but if he gets mad, then that means he's not the one for you. If he doesn't understand that.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, what you doing?
Watching this less.
You gonna be at home when I pick up the kids?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna stop by there on our way in, and I'll call you when I'm like close.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Is that how? Well, those would have been your responses. So how would you have felt?
Yeah, it was pretty accurate. Um, as far as my responses, I mean, the scenario was accurate, but maybe not my responses. I probably would have got mad, and I would have been like, well, I thought about it, and that's what I chose to do. Then I would have listened, and I was like, okay, well, I would have asked the same questions, what do I do now? And maybe I would have felt like, well, why is it that big of a deal? And I guess sometimes I don't think about all of that at the time. I mean, because if you think something is innocent, then it's innocent. And I don't think about, I guess, the possible repercussions or the possible consequences from doing something that you go into something thinking is innocent. I mean, just because something, I guess, seems innocent on the front end doesn't mean that it's not an adverse intention somewhere in there.
And because you said normally you would have just gotten mad.
Yeah. I just would have feel like, well, you're not listening to me and you're just telling me you don't want me to date or you don't want me to meet people.
So now that we just did that little small role play, does that open up maybe not being mad?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, because from what it seems that you just stated, that sometimes you see things just to be innocent and you don't think about, I guess what you're saying, the big picture
Mm-hmm.
of the scenario. You're just thinking, oh, we were hanging out, we went over my house, no big deal, why you tripping, basically.
Yeah.
But she always comes at it from maybe the whole entire perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think if you look at it, not getting mad, asking the questions, the tone was good? I mean, that was, to me, I think that was a great dialogue. So, you think if you can do those kinds of things with her, because it sounds like she's been a mother.
Right.
I mean, I understand you're grown and you have children, but I'm a mother. You never stop being a mother. I don't care how old your children are. And you want the best for your kids. And with society the way it is and all the things that you see, you're a female, you have young kids, she's trying to make sure. So do you think you can continue to have those kind of dialogues?
Mm-hmm.
So this Friday, you guys going out?
I think so. This might be our first Friday.
Okay. So we'll talk about that when you come back. We haven't touched much on the dating issue. Far as your feelings about what's going on, we've talked about how you and your mom interact with your dating scenario because we want to talk about that and what you think is healthy and how going forward and maybe just some things to kind of think about when you're in those situations. And anything else you want to?
No, nothing I can think of right now.
But it sounds like you and your mom are heading in the right direction. Your brothers are doing good.
Yes.
And let's just see how date night with mom goes, and then we'll talk some more about your male female relationships
Okay.
and dating. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay.